Hello, everybody, and welcome to Too Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies based on only their weird descriptions.
I'm Brantley.
I'm Albert. We're going to do a little reversal this week. Normally, I read the movies, but Brantley has hunted down some that he wants to talk about. Brantley, what are we kicking off with?
First up, we're talking about the Roost.
All right. Like the rooster roost, like chickens and stuff?
Things with wings.
Okay.
So, a group of young people, because it's always a group of young people.
It always is, and it's sad. Like, that's 90% of what's appealing about Bubba Hotep. I'm just like, oh, it's not teenagers, thank God. Oh.
They're on their way to a friend's wedding in the remote countryside of Pennsylvania.
Okay, this sounds nice. I'm liking this. You got, like...
Sounds
really,
very pleasant, right?
Yeah, Pennsylvania, like the sort of, mountain country, a lot of wooded area up there. Having an outdoor wedding, I would imagine, or like a little country church. Okay, I'm feeling that.
Good times. When they hit something unseen, lose control of their car, and become stranded. So goodbye to all that beautiful wedding imagery.
They do have the beautiful scenery of Pennsylvania, though.
Half the movie's just like lingering shots of the countryside.
Exactly. That's what Blair Witch, I think, really missed, is how much fun it is to be out in the woods. Yeah, they didn't capture that.
The first one had that a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. I'm not talking about the Blair Witch Project. I'm talking about Blair Witch.
Yeah, I watched that recently.
It's I found a lot of the scares effective. I'll say that.
We're not here to talk about that movie. We've seen it.
Go
I
with the Roost.
All right. The foursome reluctantly wandered down the deserted road.
Hey, chicka bump bump. The foursome. What's the makeup here? Is it like weighted towards girls or guys, or even on both?
Whatever you want, because it doesn't give us genders.
Oh, man.
Could be all four.
All four dudes?
All four if that's what you want, man.
Okay.
You might want to explain something to your wife. They reluctantly wandered down the deserted road and into the eerie darkness, because of course they do. The car's stuck there.
I thought Erie was Indiana.
Boo. They could just sleep in the car, but no, they have to go look for help in the middle of the night. They come upon a farmhouse, which, if you've ever seen a horror movie, you walk away from.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a... Listen, people in horror movies haven't always... Like, they need help, right? If you were in real life, you wouldn't walk away from it.
I have twice in my lifetime come across the beginning of a horror movie in real life.
Okay.
Both times I left.
You want to talk about that?
First time, I'm in Pensacola, which is a fairly modern city.
That is pretty terrifying, I gotta admit.
But I'm in the residential part, and I dropped my friend off, and then I'm coming back to Milton, and I got lost. I took the wrong turn, going the wrong way for a while. It's dark. It's foggy. I stopped to get my bearings, and there is a chain link fence with two gargoyles and a big creepy house on the hill up back there. So I left. Yeah, I left immediately. Went to a gas station and then got directions.
Well, that's a different story. I mean, there was a different place to go.
I escaped.
Okay. Good for you. What happens to these people in the Roost?
Well, they hope they can use the phone to call for help in this farmhouse.
But there's not a phone, right? Or it's made out of birds.
It's an Amish house.
The phone's made out of birds.
It's just a comedy where they're having to deal with the Amish trying to get back to, the wedding. But it's like, we just have a horse and carriage. It's like a 4-day ride. No! But no one seems to be home.
Now, at this point, you leave.
Yeah. It's like, no one's home.
You don't go inside the abandoned house. Yeah.
It isn't long before they learn that the farm has been taken over by vampire bats that have already claimed the lives of the older couple who live there. So the bats are at least lethal enough to kill old people.
How do you think vampire bats work in this movie? Because in real life, they find something sleeping and they make a little incision and they suck a little blood.
And they hate the taste of people.
Yeah.
We taste disgusting to bats, apparently.
So...
Too many Cheetos.
Which is weird, because they do eat pig. They like pig ears. That's where they get a lot of their blood from. They'll, make an incision in the pig ear.
Pigs or, the back of chicken legs. They really like chickens.
Are we talking, giant person-sized vampire bats?
Well... Once bitten, the victims come back to life, zombie style, and those still living have to not only dodge the bats, but the undead as well.
Well, it must be a short movie, because there's only four of them.
And there's 2 zombie old people and a bunch of vampire bats that want to drink the blood.
How does this movie... The logic questions are bugging me. But okay, magical vampire bats. They turn you into zombies. They're vampires. These people didn't know what a vampire bat was, did they? They just heard the words vampire bat and they made something up in their head and then never looked in a dictionary or an encyclopedia or anything. Probably, just made their movie.
I mean, the bats probably have like straight up like vampire fangs as opposed to just the 2 teeth in the front where they scrape the thing. Because vampire bats, they don't even suck blood. They just scrape and then they lick the blood that oozes out.
But even leaving that aside, how do these people not die in the first 5 minutes? Like, you can't... Are the bats really bad at biting people? Or they
bats have to be huge, right? Like, they can't be... Vampire bats fit in the palm of your hand. They're not big.
The palm of your pan?
Yes.
Okay.
That. Exactly what I said. Holding to it. Palm of your pan. Don't get it wrong. What do you think that means? Anyways, they can fit in that.
All my pans have a palm.
Whatever the palm of a pan is. I'm assuming it's the handle. Whatever. They fit in the palm of your hand. They're very small animals, and they can't get off they're the only ones who can get off the ground and fly. They're tiny. These have to be like person size, right?
Right.
Or at least like the size of a flying fox with like a 6-foot wingspan.
Yeah. I would accept
close
that.
The door
like
and
a dog size thing.
They're like batting against the door with their wings, screeching at them.
This is bad.
Yeah.
This is not a good movie. I haven't seen it, but I mean, hence the name of the show, but I can't imagine that there's anything good in this at all.
I mean, I've seen good bat monster movies because they're like birds but better.
Right? Yeah, I mean, bats are pretty cool and creepy.
Because they come out mostly during the night. They swarm in massive, 1,000-strong swarms, and they
Dracula can make a big fist out of them and punch the army. I didn't see that movie, but I saw that trailer.
That movie was okay at best.
So is that it for the Roost?
That's it for the Roost.
By the way, isn't there a name for where bats stay?
Caves?
No.
I know a group of bat is called a colony. And, they swarm, like I said, depending on the species.
Okay, I guess they do roost. I was looking it up, but apparently they do actually roost. Okay.
I mean, roost is just land and sleep, I think.
Yeah, I just thought maybe there was a different name for it. Yeah. Anyway, what do we have next, Brantley?
Up next, we have Devil Dog, the Hound of Hell, which is a much better name than the Roost.
I do like that they were like unsure if you were gonna get the title. It's like Devil Dog. No, guys. He's a dog who is he's literally the Hound of Hell. I don't know if you understood that from the first part of the title, but he's like actually the devil and actually a dog.
I feel like they were like cut things. So it was like K9 from Heck and just keeps going like that. Like, we need to cut down at least 5 of these. So, though not actually a film addressing the evil lure of cream-filled chocolate cakes.
That's how it starts out?
Yes.
It lets us know that it's not talking about cake?
Yeah.
Is a devil dog a cake?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm going to look that up while you keep reading.
This amusingly cheesy made-for-TV opus from director Curtis Harrington. I thought about cutting all that part out, but it made me laugh. Pits a relatively normal suburban family against a slavering, demonically possessed German shepherd whose hunger for human souls far exceeds that of the normal household pet. So he wants at least one.
I like that. They're saying that a normal household pet does have a hunger for human souls.
I mean cats.
But his exceeds that, okay? It's way beyond the normal amounts of hunger for human souls.
I picked because they were kind of weird. This one I giggled the whole time I was copying it. Because it starts off talking about cake, and then it just does that.
By the way, there is a cake called a devil dog.
Well, I want to try it. It sounds delightful.
Yes.
Soul-filled.
Maybe that was what the title was about. The initial run was a movie called Devil Dog.
And everybody kept asking
and everybody was like, came up and they're like, I liked your movie, but where was the cake? I mean, I don't understand.
All right.
It was like that Neon Demon movie. There wasn't one single demon made out of neon.
We need to change the name. The Hound of Hell. Although not above resorting to the usual throat maulings, the satanic psychopup's preferred method of attack is to supernaturally cause the deaths of various friends and neighbors in a style reminiscent of The Omen.
I haven't seen The Omen.
Well, it's,
how does he kill people?
Kind of Rube Goldberg accidents happen while he looks on.
You have a dog that just sort of like makes bad stuff happen around him?
I mean, it's easier than training a dog to attack without getting someone hurt. No. And by easier, I mean lazier.
Yeah, I'm going to say this reeks of lazy filmmaking. They have a dog. It's not that difficult. I mean, there's an Asylum movie called Night of the Wild, which is all built around sort of dogs go crazy concept, dogs as zombies. And that movie has a lot of faults, but it's like you just get the dog to like slather around on some, Jello or whatever that's red. It looks pretty convincing because dogs can be pretty scary when they're going crazy eating stuff.
It says it's not above doing that, but it just prefers to, cause Omen-style shenanigans.
I like that he's not above that, though. Like, some of your devil dogs, like, they just won't even come around to bite you, which is really insulting. Like, you've bought this demon-possessed dog at the demon-possessed pet shop, and you're like, come on.
And they're not cheap.
Yeah, no, and then, like, he's just making books fall off the bookshelf on your head, and that is not the experience that you pay for.
It's just mildly annoying.
Yes.
It's just one at a time.
It's like a whole Final Destination type thing, and that you're not about that. Like, he would have gone to the Final Destination store.
Though the gory potential of this scenario is obviously dulled by the TV movie format, there are enough implied shocks and chills to keep up the pace, particularly a grueling scene in which Dad, capitalized, because why?
It's this guy's personal dad. Like, Dad?
This is written by the son. Finds himself unable to resist the urge to plunge his hand into a spinning lawnmower blade while the possessed pooch looks on with tongue-wagging glee.
I mean, that sounds kind of cool.
There could be cool scenes of that, but again, you could just have Demon Dog.
Mind control villain is something that hasn't been done enough with. It's in Jessica Jones, which I didn't finish watching because I got bored about halfway through. So I didn't get to see like what kinds of things he would make you do, but I mean, like a truly sadistic, like fully overpowered mind control villain, they would just like you stick your hand in that blender while it's running. Or
I mean, they kind of have that in Unfriended, maybe.
I didn't watch that movie.
That was a good choice.
Okay.
But there's a scene where...
I heard it was better than you would think that it would be.
It is, but it's still bad.
Okay.
I mean, when your expectation is complete trash, not a lot of, downward spiral to go.
So it's a not only does he make the Rube Goldberg thing, he's also psychic, and he just makes you do bad stuff.
Yeah.
To yourself.
Like shoving your hand... Do you think he just like gets up and just shoves his hand in the lawnmower blade, or does he like resist and the dog just sits there with his...
It's more fun if he's resisting, or if at least he sees that it's happening.
He's walking. He's
even if you
trying to pull back.
If you're a devil dog, you probably could make him do it without question. But there's worse to fun in that.
He could also, jump over his throat. I like the idea that the dog is fully capable of just straight up murdering these people.
Yeah.
By himself, because it's a German Shepherd. They're fairly big dogs. That they're police dogs. But this one chooses to have Rube Goldberg stuff happen because it makes him laugh. He likes the shenanigans.
I honestly think that this one, as opposed to the last one, actually sounds like there's a potential good movie in here.
Yep.
Like pets can be pretty creepy. Attacks can be good. Like mind control can be cool. All this stuff could be good. I don't think this is maybe going to be one of those movies.
I mean, it is made for TV, so.
Well, so is Night of the Wild. I mean, the dog effects weren't the problem with that movie. What do we got next, Brantley?
All right, next we have Blood Beast Terror, which is an incredibly generic name.
But also awesome.
But fun, yeah.
I feel like I might have seen this one, but read it and I'll tell, like, if it sounds familiar, I guess we'll pull it.
All right. Set during the Victorian era, the film stars Peter Cushing as a Holmes-like detective. Not Holmes, though. Holmes-like. Even though he's played Holmes like 3 movies. On the trail of a serial killer. The mystery angle is minimal, since we know virtually from the beginning that the killer is a gigantic moth.
Wait, go back. What's the name of the movie?
Blood Beast Terror.
Is the moth the blood beast of which we're terrified? Or is moth? Why are people afraid of moths?
I don't know.
Like we have the Mothman. There's like
there is a phobia of moths and butterflies. It's a dumb one, and there are blood drinking moths.
Are there?
Yeah, they're worse than mosquitoes because they don't have the ability to suck. So they bore into your skin and let your own blood pressure push it up the proboscis.
Ah!
Yeah, and there are tear-drinking moths, which will fly up to birds while they're sleeping and jab them in the eye to make them cry. Which seems really risky when you're a bird, if it's a bird that eats bugs.
Well...
But moths like to live on the edge.
They're extreme.
It seems that Wanda Vintham, daughter of addled scientist Robert Fleming... I don't know why they have different last names.
Why did they have to say that he's addled? Like, this guy's a real moron.
Has spent too much time in her dad's lab and can turn herself into a malevolent moth at will.
It has to be malevolent, though.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you hang around
moth.
with your dad's lab too much. It's just...
You turn into a moth monster when you want to. But it's evil.
Is she evil?
Fleming tries to mollify Vintham by creating a playmate for her, and the result is 2 murderous moths.
That's the worst.
What was his goal? I'll make you a friend. I'll make another one of you. Exactly like you. He will be your buddy. And now there's 2 murder moths.
It's like, I mean, it did, like, now she's not lonely when she's murdering people as a moth.
Friend.
Who is the person that gets roped into this?
It doesn't say.
No, like, you're going around recruiting like, hey, maybe I got a job for you. It's real easy. You're just going to hang around in this lab for a long time. You're going around, like, looking for, like, someone to apply. You know, you, like, put an ad out in the paper. It was like, job, you know, help needed. Good pay.
I just love
easy work.
I just love the fact that it's Peter Cushing being not Holmes, not Sherlock Holmes.
Unfortunately, because that would make this so much better.
That'd be so much better.
If it was
Sherlock Holmes and then versus the giant moth monsters.
I can just see like the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Home, like, Watson, we need to go get somebody to hang around this lab for a long time. And they'll be like, I don't know what it's about, but he is Sherlock Holmes, so I guess I'll do that. And then it still turns out to be a bad idea. He's like, my powers of deduction have failed me. I don't know why. Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't have a deep voice like this. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm Batman.
They are both detectives. I mean, Killer Moth is a Batman villain, but yeah, I just love the idea of him like trying to solve this crime, like mundanely. Like he starts off thinking it's just a serial killer,
right?
And then at some point he has to try to convince the police that it's a giant moth monster.
Well, that is,
and then that it's 2 giant moth monsters that want to eat people or kill people.
There's like a subgenre of Sherlock Holmes stories that's based on what if Sherlock Holmes encounters the supernatural.
Yeah,
because his whole shtick is that you can explain stuff. If you take that away, and there can be magic stuff, then anybody who comes to him with something that seems like magic, it's just like, maybe it's magic this time too.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of nerfs the whole fun of, but how did it really happen? It turns out it really happened by letting someone hang around in the lab too long.
This isn't magic though. This is science.
STEM people, take note. Hang around in those labs too long.
Take breaks.
Yeah.
Actually, she's not a scientist.
Get a Pomodoro.
See, as you know, scientists are immune to science.
Oh, I got it.
Them.
She hadn't built up the
immunity
antibodies
to the science.
Right. No, that actually does make sense now.
Whereas he was probably just studying butterflies as a lepidopterist. Just, that's his job, looking at butterflies.
As someone who has sort of had an interest in science, I do know that they like very early on, if you in science class or whatever, they do give you the anti-moth changing mimetic, you know, the words that you say to keep yourself from changing into a murderous moth. But, especially at this time period, right? This is the early 1800s. Women wouldn't have had access to that because they just wouldn't be expected to hang around a lab that much. And that's tragic when you really think about it.
Science is dangerous, guys.
Science is dangerous.
He can turn you into a murderous moth monster.
Do you want to do one more?
We can do one more.
Okay.
Finally, we have Tarantulas, the deadly cargo.
Okay, there's 2 options with this title.
Yeah?
The boring one is that the tarantulas are the deadly cargo.
Uh-huh.
The second one is that we have a tiny community of trucker tarantulas that get themselves in a mess of trouble.
Pixar, get on this. Or DreamWorks, I don't care. You both done bug movies before? Those are the best, right? When we get movies that we can make fun of the title before we get to the description.
Yes.
Guys, get better titles for your movies. Don't give us The Roost. Give us Tarantulas, the deadly cargo.
Well, some people are actually trying.
Okay, fair enough.
I want you to understand there are movies that are made without this program in mind, where people are like, they aren't thinking, what would make Alan Brantley laugh the most? And I understand those aren't the best movies, but they are, they are out there. We have to make amends, make room for that too.
All right. So an airplane carrying coffee beans from South America has some unpleasant stowaways.
Mexicans.
Well, those would be from North America, sir.
Costa Ricans.
There you go. Albert fails.
They were on. No. See, they were in vacation in Chile.
They had to get back.
Like, we have to get back to North America. Just the continent. Like, it doesn't have to be our country.
We'll get deported back to Mexico. It's fine. They elect Trump. A horde of tarantulas, which overcome the pilots as the airplane is flying over an orange-producing town in California.
And then they fly the plane to where they want to go.
They took over. They just took over the plane.
We're in charge now! Take us to Cuba.
The airplane crashes because, tarantulas, they can't reach the controls.
No, I want to see that. I want to, like, the adorable little tarantula
They're en
legs.
masse, like, working together to turn the thing. They do, like, the ant thing where they build the towers and turn.
I mean, the airplane still crashes, but they're really trying. They're like, whoa!
They're trying their hardest. It's like a fish out of water comedy story with this colony of tarantulas. They're just trying to make their delivery of their cargo.
People with arachnophobia are just, like, horrified right now, but this is the best.
No, we're going to cure it by making it hilarious.
Okay.
Like what Alien Freaks tried to do. The airplane crashes, and the unlucky inhabitants of the town release the poisonous spiders into their midst. I figured the crash would do that. They tried to save them. They thought it was just the pilots because they, like, took the clothes. And they sing into the sound just wearing the costume. Just like, we're just people, not spiders. But they can't talk, so it's just like, they're just waving their arms around like, what's wrong with those guys? I don't know. They're from South America. Maybe they don't speak English. Don't be racist.
Oh, Trump's America.
Once the town's officials discover that the tarantulas are responsible for several deaths, the tarantulas have already descended upon the town's only orange-producing factory. Apparently, they just really wanted oranges.
Yeah, what? Hold on. So read that sentence again.
Yeah. Once the town's officials discover that the tarantulas are responsible for several deaths, the tarantulas have already descended upon the town's only orange processing factory.
They didn't kill them. They just distracted them and made them run off the road with their hilarious tarantula clothes-wearing antics.
They saw that, and they're all at town arachnophobes. They're like, oh my god! Just crash to avoid them. They're just like trying to hitchhike to the oranges because they just want an orange.
Right, but their thumb is made of 8 spiders.
Like, 4 oranges will feed all those tarantulas. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, can I get a ride? And like, oh my god, spiders! And they just crash into other cars. Massive pile up on the freeway. It's just like the two.
It's a Casper the Friendly Ghost situation. People keep having heart attacks. We're like, we just want to be friends.
Like, yeah, sorry guys, but again, they can't talk as spiders, so they're just like waving their arms, which freaks even more people out.
We came all the way from South America. We just want some oranges.
The pilots freaked out and crashed. I don't understand. The town citizens risk their lives to remove the tarantulas from the factory, while the poisonous pests are rendered motionless by the transmitted sound of buzzing bees.
What?
Yeah. Apparently the sound of bees freeze it. Are they afraid of bees?
So this is
No, I got it. Okay, the reason these tarantulas came to North America is because they were afraid of the killer bees that were released in South America.
Oh, so they get a dose of their own medicine. Now they're afraid of it.
They're like, guys, those things are crazy. Why did you make those? So they take on human suits. Very bad ones because it's just spiders stacked up trying to look like people in clothes.
Right.
And they get on the plane and then they accidentally kill the pilots. They both have heart attacks because they have massive arachnophobia. They crash the plane because they're spiders. They don't know how to drive a plane. I don't know how to drive a plane. I would crash.
Yeah.
And then, bees happen. Like, they're here too. Why?
This sounds like another cost-saving measure to not show the spiders moving around.
Yeah.
They're like, we have these really realistic spider models that don't move. How will we use them in our movie?
Human suits. I'm really attached to the idea of them being like stacked up to look like people. It's not in this movie at all, but I'm really attached to that. They're just in the pilot costume the whole time. They don't change.
Well, that's why because they have like the visor down or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't see their faces. Yes. Well, I think that'll do it for this week on Too Weird Didn't Watch. If you like the podcast, hit that subscribe button on whatever podcast player you prefer. Tell a friend about us. Share the love. And we'll see you guys next week with another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch.
Bye, guys.
Bye.